Help me, I'm poor.
Help me, I'm poor.
Hello, welcome to Tucson, Arizona. I'm Randy.
I'm Nick.
We're back. Missed you, buddy.
I know, it's been a while. Sorry about that.
It's been a while. Yeah.
Life gets in the way.
I did a video. I don't think anyone's watched it yet. The other night, I realized that between like work and life, I haven't been out here on this much.
Mm-hmm.
I've made a couple of videos. Like I made one for the airplane, and I made something else. But I realized I posted those videos, like the airplane one I just did last week. I was able to fly. I did a full review of the plane, and then I went out and flew it, and then did the editing nonsense. I hate editing. It takes so long. And posted that. And I got some really fun comments. It's got some dudes following me now. So that was really cool. I'm really happy with it. But I posted it and then walked away. So life got busy. I just had a few minutes to do that and then leave. And then I noticed I came back out a couple days ago and I was out messing around and I realized I had a bunch of comments, but not just from those videos, like from a few videos.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, oh, there was like comments from a month ago.
Oh, damn.
Dude, I felt like a dick. So I commented back and the one is like my OG follower.
Oh.
So I feel bad. So
if you're seeing this, it's just him being a normal person, not him being intentionally
I did
a
a
jerk.
whole apology video, bro.
Oh,
I did.
That's funny.
The other night. I did a whole apology video because I felt like a jerk. I'm like, I'm doing my half and they're doing their half. And then I drop it. Like,
Yep.
or I'm doing my, like the beginning.
Yeah.
They're carrying me. They're doing the views, they're doing the comments, and then I fail to respond. So like right here.
If anybody ever comments to me, please let me know because I will comment back, but I don't go on and check it either.
So the last parenting video we did, let's see, I think it was this one here. Go into comments. So Marlerism is like old OG follower. So
Okay.
what's up, buddy? Thanks for hanging out. So I made like a whole apology video that freaking that's not what I wanted to do. Hold on 1 second. Just because I noticed.
He's on Google. He doesn't really care.
Just texting my wife. So like, I'm like, he commented and I saw alerts, right? I signed in just to kind of do something else and do some editing. And I noticed comments. I'm like, dude, a month ago, I suck as a person. So I did like a whole like 20-minute, like, hey, sorry. Did it like a channel update, talking about some videos I've got in the pipeline, that things I'm about to start working on or things I've already got started. And then took like half of that video to just apologize. Like, I'm sorry. Like, you guys are out there doing your part and I dropped the ball entirely. So that's my bad. I'm a terrible person. Admonish me.
Stoned.
Yeah.
You're going to get stoned.
Yeah, right. So, hey, it didn't kill Paul from the Bible, so I'll be all right. Didn't kill us. So it actually leads me to, I guess, what we were thinking about doing. It. So we did a video 7 months ago.
It was a while ago.
And I was still using Streamlabs at the time. Now I'm just using OBS because Streamlabs, I lost 3, I think, major videos that said they were recording. And when I finished recording, the videos only had, like, that one was an hour long, like exactly an hour, because I only had you for an hour that day. And we had 12 minutes of video.
Yep.
And how that happened, I will never understand. So, going back in the Wayback Machine, have you tell a story again. So, Tucson, Arizona, right? Live in Tucson. Rattlesnakes live in Tucson. And your boy here has been bitten by a rattlesnake. So, go ahead and take it away.
I'm one of the few that have not been bitten by a rattlesnake because I was playing with the rattlesnake. I was taking out the trash. I know that sounds really stupid, but I was in sandals, so it's kind of my own fault.
At night.
But yes. So I know it's kind of hard to picture, but we had a house with a garage on the right-hand side, door in between the master, which was all the way to the left, and living room. So it's kind of a long ways around it. And I had taken the trash out the garage from the kitchen, out the garage, around the front, and then to the side of the house where we had the gate. As soon as I open the side gate, I hear nothing. There's nothing. I take a step forward, and if you live in Arizona, there's these little things called devil horns. Oh, at least that's what I always call them.
Yeah, that's what they're called.
So they're little, like, pods that have like 2 stickers on them. And so when you step on them, like I've done it 1,000 times, the stupid little things, you step on the pod and it comes up and the 2 little things hit you and it scares the bejesus out of you.
Devil's Clawed or Devil's Horns.
Yeah.
You can look it up. They're vicious little bastards.
So I get hit in the foot and we live right behind a wash. So I'm like,
You're on the desert.
yes. So I'm like, well, crap. That's what I felt was just that little, and I was like, that felt weird. And I just froze. And then I stopped for a second. I'm holding 2 trash bags. I stopped for a second and I took a step back. I was like, that's probably nothing. I'll be fine. And then I took a step forward and I was like, no, something's wrong. Like my foot's starting to hurt like real bad. So I just dropped the trash bags and me just running from that side, that 5 to 10 seconds of hesitation, me walking around to the front of the house. By the time I got to our front door, my front foot started to hurt and go numb at the same time. Insane feeling. So I start to like hobble. My truck's in the garage, and so I make it to the garage and I get like inside and I can't even walk on my leg anymore. Like it's falling asleep.
Fire.
Yeah, falling asleep and fire. So I'm holding onto the truck, holding onto the wall, getting my way up to the door. I open the door and I literally like fall inside. And my parents, I was living with my brother at the time, and my parents were there and we were cooking, or they'd cooked dinner for us. So I yelled, I was just all, Dad, and threw the door open and fell on the ground, and like my whole family rushes over. They're looking at me. They're like, oh, what happened? What happened? I was like, I don't know. I got bit by something. My leg's gone. I just cut it off. I don't know what to do. So my dad like literally just picks me up. I was 105 pounds at the time. Picks me up, walks me down to my car because my car was the least hazardous to get out of that little chaotic area with that many people there. And threw me in my car, drove down to the little...
An Eclipse.
Yes, 97 Eclipse. We call for an ambulance, and the ambulance like, oh, we'll be there in 10 minutes. My dad's like, I'll be to the hospital before that. So as we're driving, my brother goes out back and starts looking around to see if he can find out what it is. We make it to this, there's a little tiny hospital, like a little ER room. So I didn't even get out. My dad ran in. 30 seconds later, he runs out, which was a feat for him if you knew him. Little guy.
Little brick.
Little chubby. He ran back out. He's like, they don't deal with snake bites. They said go to the Northwest. So we drive all the way to Northwest Hospital. He's flying. And I only remember about half the car ride because I was shaking so bad.
You were in shock.
Yeah, I was shaking so bad I couldn't like function. They come out, gurney me in, and I get into the bed and they like hook you up to an IV. They started giving me pain meds and like it felt better for a minute, but pain meds numb your nerve endings and venom eats your nerve endings. So as soon as those 2 start combined, and
It was just the north and the south.
And I actually feel like it hurt worse after that because you're not just on nerve endings, you're like at your nerve where it starts like eating away at, and it just destroyed me. I was not able to function. Everybody's freaking out. My brother calls finally because they wouldn't do anything until they knew it was a snake. They don't want to give you anti-venom unless...
Yeah, well, because anti-venom in and of itself can hurt you.
Yes. So my brother calls. He's like, yeah, it was a snake. The rattle was broken. Just my damn luck. So I stepped in. It just got scared, bit me. So I'm sitting there talking to the doctor. I'm shaking. He's like, hey, you gonna be okay? I was like, no. I was like, can you give me more pain meds? Like anything? Like, come on, I'm a druggie. Like I don't get. Like I don't know. I need something. Like, and he's like, no, we can't. We already maxed out on
Hit
pain
me
meds.
again, tube sock.
Exactly. Rub your feet together. Shock me something. And so I'm like, is there anything you can do? He's like, well, we can like put you out, self-induced coma. And I'm like, do that. So
Been there. It's worth it.
So I woke up like 2.5 days later. And my leg was, before I fell asleep, my thigh, which again, I was smaller back then. So my thigh, that was the size of my ankle. Like everything had swollen up. Everything was jacked. I couldn't move anything. I couldn't move my ankle for like a month after that almost. But they had me all wrapped up and stuff. But I remember waking up the last time.
A walker and a wheelchair.
Yeah. Yeah, I was in a wheelchair at first. I could not stand up even on my left leg because I was so weak. But I remember laying in the hospital and like they took away my little button that made you fall asleep, which was a fantastic thing. And I remember very few little clips from that. So I remember Jackie, my wife, and her sister showing up with balloons. And then I was asleep. I remember my family, John and my parents, both visited me once. I don't think I remember anything else.
I think the last time you told the story, you remember them watching, was it Sex in the City?
Oh, no.
Or
They
something?
told me they watched Sex in the City. That's what I say. When my wife and Robin came and sat down in there, I guess they were there for an hour or two, and they just were watching Sex in the City, and I guess I was talking and everything. I have no idea. But every time I felt that pain, I just start hitting that button. And
The sleep button. I love the sleep button.
I had 6 months of getting my blood tested to make sure that the anti-venom didn't mess me up any worse. I had like a month of just being a useless waste of a human laying there. My wife had to give me sponge baths.
In the next 19 years. Continue the same.
Well, that was because of that. I can't blame the rest of that on that.
Sponge baths.
And then I had
It's the way to do it.
physical therapy, and that physical therapy was kind of useless. They didn't want me to like push myself. And I was back. They were like, "Oh, you can't work for like 6 months." I was working like 2.5 months later, hobbling everywhere. Like I couldn't.
Physical therapy, mine was completely different, but
Yeah,
it never seems to work.
no, they're like, "Oh, try moving your ankle up and down and up and down." And I'm like, I've been doing that for like 2 weeks. You told me not to, but I know I got to do it to walk, so I'm doing it. And they're like, "Oh yeah, that's great." And so when I was in the hospital before they released me, they told me they didn't know if I'd ever get function on my foot back. They're very happy I didn't have to lose anything. The lady that I was in the hospital with, we had both been bitten by a rattlesnake randomly, and she lost part of her toes and part of her foot.
It's so wild.
She got bit on her leg above her ankle. I got bit on my foot,
On the top of the
on the
foot.
top of the plantar of the foot. So
Plantar fasciitis.
she unfortunately lost some of her foot, and she actually said that was the worst. She had 3 kids, and she said that was the worst pain she'd ever been through. I'm not trying to compare them. I'm saying that's what she said.
2 very different pains, but I'm sure one. And what's insane is women have a higher pain tolerance.
Oh yeah,
The threshold's way higher.
oh yeah. I'm sure she wasn't. I'm sure they didn't put her in a self-induced coma. She was probably like,
Sucks.
get me a beer.
So hold my beer, little boy. I'll show what it's like to handle this pain.
Yeah.
See, when I had physical therapy, it was for the collapsed lung and all the internal damage I had. So I had to go in for breathing treatments.
Yeah.
The weirdest part, and I don't know if I ever posted this video. I know I made it, and I think I got busy and forgot to post it. But I know I've shown you clips, and I know you've seen some stuff on your own. But have you watched Landman?
No, I've only seen clips and what you.
So there's one scene. It technically happens in the beginning of episode 2, because the end of episode 1 there's an explosion, right? The son of Billy Bob Thornton, the main character, is in the hospital with all
Spoiler alerts, by the way.
this internal damage, right? Well, and I'm trying to do this without spoilers. Is this one scene that really has the explosion has a lot to do with storyline, so I'm not going into how or why or where. But what I really want to focus on is that's what caused the damage for this dude, right? He's like 22 or something. I think he's in the hospital. And he's in the hospital. He's like all hooked up and stuff, and he's in a coma. And they're explaining the internal damages like he suffered. I suffered most of the same things he did. He had, was it a kidney problem or something? And my liver was cut in half. So we're like slightly different organ was affected, but we both had collapsed lungs, and we both had a bunch of internal bleeding and cracked ribs and broken ribs and all that fun stuff, right? So they said they got him on a chest tube.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
You had one.
I had one.
I saw it.
Oh, this is why I didn't post the video, because I actually pulled up my shirt to show it. And I was like, I don't really want all that on the internet. Because I'm kind of fit, kind of fat. So, and the fat is all in the front part. So
That's all over the face.
part. So I've had a chest tube, and I had a chest tube for about 3 weeks. So when you get a chest tube, it's not like a day thing. And in the show, first off, he didn't have a chest tube. They didn't even pretend to put a chest tube in him, because a chest tube is about the size of a freaking garden hose, big tube, and it goes right underneath the armpit. So then you've got this long hose hooking up to it's a dual or triple pump machine, and it's constantly pumping, and it's pulling all the blood out of the chest cavity that has collapsed your lung. That's what collapses a lung, is blood, internal bleeding. So my liver was cut in half. I had a couple of cracked ribs, and the blood from the liver being cut in half just filled up my chest cavity. And every time I exhaled, it prevented my lung from expanding more. So my right lung the lower lobe was completely collapsed within an hour of the car accident. So they put the chest tube in. They kept me in a coma for a week. I know we covered this on an earlier episode, but no one watched it. So they put me in a coma for a week. And then when I came out, because just in case I had to do emergency surgery, because I was not looking like I was going to survive any of my trauma. So when I came out, they said, okay, now we're going to do a procedure. You're going in for surgery. We're going to put a chest tube in. I was like, okay, whatever. And then like, I vaguely remember the conversation, and then wake up and I've got a hose right underneath my armpit. It's literally right here. So it's actually changed how my muscle structure works on my entire lat. Like it's very weird.
Surprised me.
So, and I was 150 pounds soaking wet at the time, and I'm literally 100 pounds heavier than that today. So the hose goes down, this big pump machine that's on just like any other machines on all the wheels, the little octopus wheels, rolls with you everywhere. So I had IVs all in me. I had the chest tube. I had everything. And then I had the freaking sleep button. So that was in me for almost 3 weeks. And then I had to have a surgery after the fact. So I remember I was conscious when they removed it. And they were like, hey man, we're going to pull this out. Do you want meds? And I was like, nah, man, I should be okay. Like, so I rolled me onto my left side. I've got my arm up above my head, and there's like 4 people in there. And one doctor is helping keep pressure down around the tube. And then the other doctor is going to start pulling the tube while a nurse and another doctor are monitoring and recording everything. They touched it. It moved, dude, maybe a fraction of an inch. Like I couldn't see, but I doubt they made much progress. And I was like, nope. Give me drugs. Like, cause that hurt.
Oh yeah.
Like it was like ripping a part of me out. So they came back with this little shot glass of this pink solution, and I knocked that back. And about 2 minutes later, I was like, dude, let's do this. Like,
you wanted to put a tube in the other side too and pull it at the same time?
Good. Let's go. And then they pulled it, and it just felt like you've been in the ocean. So when you start going down and you start feeling the pressure, so like when you make it down like 15 feet and then you start feeling pressure on you, it just felt like my entire chest cavity just had pressure all around it. And then they go, boom, and it comes out, and then they, kind of patch me over. And I think it was 2 days later, next day or 2 days later, I had my surgery. So then they had to do a VATS, a video assisted something surgery, VATS. So they go in and scope, and they use basically a scraper and a vacuum and a camera all in one thing. Goes in, and it scrapes off all the dried blood and everything off the outside of the lung and the chest cavity. Ooh. And then they do that. So I was in there for, I think it was like a 6-hour surgery or something. They do all that, and the drugs they gave me before that were amazing. And then I wake up, and then this was one of the very first comment. I think it was the very first comment I ever got on this channel was from the same gentleman I was just talking about. I made a comment about, I had told people what I wanted before I went in. They were like, hey, what do you want? And I said, I want real food and I want a Jack in the Box. And the first comment on this show ever was doing like, I can't, it's hilarious. My favorite part of the story is that you called Jack in the Box real food. Dude, fair enough. And I was like, dude, fair enough, bro. I ate like a junk food junkie back then.
Tony Stark, man.
Yeah, right? You want to
hammer.
So, I wanted the strawberry shake. So, and then I felt bad because I barely ate any of the food because I hadn't really eaten. And what I meant by real food was I hadn't had consumable food in a month. They were feeding me intravenous, like they were keeping me fed in other ways. I didn't really get to eat anything.
Yeah, like this or
like I wasn't able to like actually have food. Plus I was on so much pain meds, I was constipated, so I didn't want to eat food anyway.
Yeah.
So like the whole thing just sucked. But anyway, so when everything got done, I had to go back for like 8 months for breathing exercises.
Mm-hmm.
I still have the machine. You've seen them. Your
Mhm.
mom had one. You have to and hover the little ball. But they would also have me lay down. And it was actually, dude, does it sound weird? Extremely peaceful and extremely relaxing. But the physical therapist would come in with different like objects to kind of like basically thump my entire side.
Mhm.
But she had a mask for one of those ones that's got like the inflated all the way around the mask.
Oh yeah, yeah.
She had one of those that was inflated, and it's basically to knock all that stuff free.
Yeah, like cupping almost.
Yeah, kind of like that. Only she wasn't like suction cups, but like it was just kind of weird. And
Oh, see, I meant just the I
I know what
the
you
cupping
mean.
thing, not the actual like
No, I
suction.
know what you meant. I just wanted to clarify for them.
We did that in high school. That's how you knock, like when you had people had like lung problems and stuff.
Yeah.
You'd knock stuff loose or mucus in their lungs. You'd do that to their back and it'd help knock it loose.
Exactly.
Don't know if that's a real procedure. It's what we called it growing up.
Yeah,
Sorry.
but it's a percussion.
Yeah. Bringing your bass while they're doing it.
Yeah. So that's exactly what they were doing. I just wanted to clarify for all of the meatheads out there that get cupped after they work out heavy.
Yes.
And they put that stupid suction like an octopus.
Yeah.
Like idiots. Let me burst some blood vessels in my outer skin.
I don't know if it helps or not, but I wanted to be clear what I was talking about. But, dude.
Yeah. So anyways, long story short, like physical therapy was kind of a joke.
Do you remember that noise that it makes when you pull like a tube out?
Yeah.
Okay, so I've been there. Like Grandpa had one. Again, Grandpa and Grandma both had tubes, and of some sort, trachea or whatever. Dude, remember Jackie got her thyroid removed?
Yeah.
So I don't remember exactly where it's at right here, but there's like a tube goes in for your thyroid, so they can after they remove it, it brings like a tube down, and then they like put this little thing on there, and all of this like weird nasty mucusy stuff comes out of it for the first little bit, and then
so it's a drain tube.
Yeah, it's just a drain tube. And dude, the first time she's like, can you clean it? Like she just had surgery, she's not really doing it. I was like, yeah, sure. I opened that, the smell of that the first time I opened it, like I got kids that poop on the ground like none of that bothers me. Nothing. I used to, I worked for carpet cleaning, and so we would pressure wash with a turbo inside bathrooms with floor drains.
It's so nasty.
Dude, it smells terrible when you do it.
Nasty. We both did that.
I'm good. That smell knocked me like back. I was like, oh, and she's like, I'm so sorry. I was like, don't touch you. It's like,
I mean, it is you. It's coming from you, but it's not you. You're not doing it on purpose.
So we had to do that for a little bit. You clean it out, rinse it out, put it in. As long as there's no blood coming down it, you're good. So afterwards, the doctor's like, after a week, 2 weeks, whatever it was, she's like, oh yeah, you just remove the tube. You just pull. And Jackie was like, I can't do it. And I was like, no, I got you. Dude, that noise was the weirdest noise of all, and it sounds like the same.
Through muscles and tissue. Oh yeah, dude, it's so wild.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I was medicated, so I was like, whatever, man, it's all good. I said, yeah, dude, I'm a man. Let's do this. And they were like, I was like, oh, let's not. I am not the masculine man I thought I was.
Well, you've been there, dude. Like, I've cut. Like, I had a grinder wheel, and we're sitting there cutting near carpet, and it grabs the carpet and goes like this between my two fingers, and I'm like,
dude,
you could
I've
see my bone
Marys.
here. You could see my bone here. Grinder wheel's like in between it, and I'm waiting. I have to like wait for it to stop, and then I look over at Randy, and I'm like, Randy. He's like, he looks over at me, and I'm like, we gotta clean this up. Like, there's just blood splattered everywhere. Like, we gotta clean this up, dude.
Like a Dexter scene.
Run outside, tape it up, go right back to work.
Dude, and then the same thing with freaking Danny. And I still believe Danny did that on purpose.
I think he cut his finger off on purpose, dude.
Well, and it didn't come off. Like, to be clear,
yeah.
It was the big meat part of your thumb right here. We were installing wood floors at the time, and he did not want to be there. And it's a big house, and it was a big job, but we got paid really well to do it.
When we got paid.
When we got paid. But when we did flooring, we always got paid.
Yeah.
When we worked houses, we didn't always get paid. But you guys had just started the big McMansion up in the Boulders, and Danny was pissed that we weren't on that. It was just you and John. And I was like, dude, whatever, bro. We're getting paid for this. Like, floor pays.
Mhm.
Like floor pays now. That's weekly.
Yeah.
Like let's just go. Like let's hammer this job out. And that was, what was that job? It was like 3,000 square feet
It was a big
or
house.
something like that.
It was upstairs, downstairs. I remember coming there to help.
Well,
after.
and it was like several different rooms, all detached, and it was nice that they were detached. It wasn't the contiguous one sucked, dude.
Yeah.
I hated that so much. When they wanted it, they didn't want to. I don't want to see him. I want it to just continue. It's
yeah.
like, well, thanks. You just added 4 hours to my day.
Yeah.
Just that one doorway, because this is going to be a nightmare.
Yep. And two people can't be working on at the same time. You have to get there first.
Yeah, exactly.
Just a pain.
So
and then doing it backwards, depending on how. Yeah. Anyway.
yeah. So we finished up their dining room. When this house, when you first walk in the door, you walk a few feet, like 5 or 6 feet, and then to the right there was a big archway, and that was a giant dining room. And then you keep walking, and then there's hallway to the left, which goes down to a ton of bedrooms to the right, and then if you walk straight, giant living room, dining room, kitchen, and then off to the right was the master with full on suite and everything. So it was just a ton. It was like 5 bedrooms, several hallways, lots of other little ante rooms. It's just a big ass floor. And it was real hardwood. It wasn't laminate.
Mhm.
So, which just takes longer. And I was pissed because you weren't with me, because you and I were the fastest at it.
Yeah.
And you and I didn't really need to communicate. It just flowed.
Yeah.
Every time you and I were on a job, dude, it just went.
Because I could look and see what you were doing and knew what you were going to do next because I knew your brain. Danny.
And vice versa. Like if whoever was kind of at a spot, if you're like, oh, I'll run cut. Oh, only one guy can work right here. I'll run cuts for you.
Yeah.
You clearly have got this. Just tell me what you need. We'd mark out our cuts. The other guy would run into it, vice versa, whatever.
And I know it's typical to get to know normally get to know different people's habits. But the problem was Danny. I love him to death. He's a great guy. But you're like, hey, this is step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Danny does 1, 2, 7, 4.
He
8,
does whatever the hell he feels like doing.
has to backtrack and do 3, 4, 5 again.
Realize it got screwed up, has to undo 7, 6, and 5 to go back to 4.
Yeah.
Like, so we're on this job, and because Danny was getting frustrated, I was letting him kind of do his own room. And I was like, dude, we'll just run our own cuts. So you have a table saw and you have a compound miter saw. That way, if you're doing compounds, one guy could be ripping out compounds, another guy, if they just need to rip straights, they can just rip straights, and you can kind of flow. And then on bigger jobs, we try to have more saws. That way, if we're both running compounds, you're not hanging up the flow.
Yep.
So I'm in the master doing this room, and Danny's in another room, and he's just bitching and moaning the whole job. And don't get me wrong, it sucked. It was like a 4-day job. It sucked. But he hated that he was there and not up there in Scottsdale with you guys. And I was like, well, you know what, Danny? I wish you weren't here. Like, I never said this to him, but in my head, I'm like, trust me, dude, I wish you were with John and Nick was with me.
Yeah.
Like, we need to just get this done. So at one point, it's just, I go outside, and I knew Danny had been complaining for like 5 hours. And this was like day 2 or day 3 of this job. And he'd just been bitching and moaning. And I go out, and he's got his hands clasped together. And he's like, bro, I almost cut off my thumb. And I was like, almost? Well, dude, almost ain't shit. And he was like, no, look. And and just this whole fat meat part under the thumb was just flayed open. And I was like, how? And he goes, the table saw. And I start looking. I'm like, bro, the only way you're getting your hand there is if you deliberately put it there.
Yeah.
You're running a straight cut on the table saw.
You're not even just that, you have to be like this.
Yeah. So what I believe to this day happened is that guy had the blade going and had it tabled down just enough to have the teeth sticking out so he wouldn't actually lose his whole thumb, and went bap and like high-fived that blade. I believe with everything in me that's what he did to get out of doing that job. So then I had to call his wife, and I had to call you guys, and you guys were on your way back from a 4-day adventure in Scottsdale. I was like, dude, this is what's up. I'm going to run into the hospital. So I had to wait till you guys got there. So then someone was there with all of our tools and all of the wood. And then I took him to the hospital, came back to the job, and then continued working all night, and then had to go back the next day and finish it all with you guys.
Yep. We stayed and helped that night, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we were there till like 8 or 9 until the owners were like, okay, can you please go? And then came back the next day. We all hammered on it, got it done, and left. That was the biggest shit show of a wood floor job I ever did. Second was with Jeremy. We were doing one he and I did one out in what's the name of that place? Voyager, out off of Kolb.
Yep.
So we were at this. It's a park. It's a what do you call them? Park model. So it's like a very small mobile home that they did this giant sunroom addition to, and the guy wanted he wanted laminate. No problem, laminate in a little. It was like not even. I think it was like 250 square feet. Like, dude, like a 5-hour job. So we start doing it, and then he starts complaining that he wants the floor leveled. And I'm like, what? It's like, no one said anything to me. No one said anything to anybody. So now he's complaining. So now we had to get someone else to bring self-leveler, and that's when Danny came out. Jeremy was of no use the whole time. He was just, oh yeah, we'll get self-leveler. He was just like talking up to the guy. I'm like, bro, you're costing us money because it's not something that it's not something he put in the work order. It's not something he paid for. Yeah. So then we had to eat it. So we had to get self-leveler, level out these couple little whoops in there, and then lay the floor, and then lost a bit of profit. And then we had to go back and fight with the flooring supplier that actually sold the job. Because when you buy wood flooring or tile flooring or whatever, or carpeting, if you buy it at Flooring Express or any other big name, they sub all that work out. They don't actually have any like employees that do it.
Most of them, yeah.
Well, like 80% of their stuff is contractors that own their own businesses. So we were contractors, and we fell ass backwards into that because we were installing wood floor on a house we were flipping, and they saw how much we bought and asked us, "Hey, do you guys want to do this?" And we're like, "Sure."
We know how to do everything.
Yeah, we can do this. And we're like, bro, we've done it once.
Yeah. We got good at it.
Yeah. So now my dad, his whole dining room was all free redwood.
Yep.
Like real wood that was free from jobs. Like I had tons of that paneling forever. Did it. I'll never do carpet again, but I would lay flooring.
Yeah, flooring's not too bad. I actually don't mind wood floors. I don't want to do decorative concrete again, though. That was a whole beast of its own.
Me neither, but my wife wants to tear up our entire house and decorate the concrete. So I told her no.
Decorative concrete is different than polished concrete. Polished concrete, cool with.
No, she wants decorative.
Oh, overlay?
Yeah.
Don't do it.
I told her no.
Nope.
I told her, and this is me saying it again, honey, I'm not doing it. We've already got brand new wood floor to the whole damn house. I'm not tearing it up.
I have
a little over 1,800 square feet of flooring. No, thank you.
I've been to the World of Concrete show several times. My boss would literally go out and buy every sealer that there was, and we would do little samples of them and see which ones didn't scratch the most. Like, he tried to make it good. Like, he did try to do right by the customer, but honestly, it just was so dang terrible. And you can't stop it from scratching. You can't stop the porcelain. No, the Portland in the concrete and overlay. It takes stain how it wants to take stain, so you can't.
Yeah, there's no rhyme or reason. You're gonna be like, I want the perfect smooth coat of this color, and then you're gonna have so much different speckling in there.
It's consistently inconsistent. Remember?
That's right.
It's consistently inconsistent.
It's marbling, is what it is.
Yeah, it's just you can't do it, and
so stupid.
We had to go back and patch so many, and we tried to do it right. Like he legit tried to make it so that we were using the best stuff. And it didn't.
Xylene's the best.
Dude, you never helped us with the hanger?
No, thank God. I did not. I helped you with the big ass house.
But dude,
never the hanger. You kept telling me about it, and you're like, you want to help? Like, nope.
We had this we did this airplane hanger, and it was like right when we first started our own business thing. And dude, it's an airplane hanger. It's ginormous. And he's like, oh, I want the whole thing decorative concrete, and I want it like porcelain smooth. So we had to use tons of self-leveler, trying to make everything as perfect as possible, and then overlay it. And then he wants the shiniest coat you could possibly get, and we tell him no, don't do it. Like we'll do it, but you're gonna be running tires and stuff over it, so we're gonna have to like no warranty on that portion of
30
it.
30 minutes, 30 feet.
Yep. So like all this stuff, but the sealer we were using, because one thing we didn't know is the self-leveler will also pull in the sealant. So it pulls it through. So we sealed it, and then normally we walk away, wash our hands, we're good, and we look, and there's all these spots, and they're like splotchy and stuff. So then I think we used, and it was a big floor, mind you. So like a normal kitchen, you use a couple gallons of sealer maybe.
Yeah.
So we use like 65, 70 gallons to seal the floor initially. So, and mind you, we just worked. Like we didn't stop most of the time. We just worked. So we sealed the floor. And by the time you're done sealing one side, the other side's all good to walk on as long as you ain't got shoes on. You walk socks or something because it's so big. So we start walking through and we're like, man, we're going to have to reseal this. Luckily, we had a ton of sealer because we had other jobs we were going to be doing. So we had sealer in there. We're like, cool, we'll do another thin coat. So we use like 30 gallons of sealer. We're in this giant closed off hanger with 90 gallons of sealant in it. And we can't stop laughing now.
No respirators.
Yeah, no, respirators were definitely a good idea. But we tried using respirators.
No SCBA.
Well, we tried using respirators, but as soon as a half hour in, they're clogged.
Yep.
So you have to take them off. And we're like, we can't afford to do this, man.
Filters aren't cheap, man.
So we're in there with that. And so we're outside laughing. We can't stop. And we're like, dude, we got to fix this floor. What are we going to do? Xylene brings up. We'll get that sealant, some of that sealant up in the high spots and move it to the low spots, and it works.
Look up xylene if you don't know what we're talking about.
If you know what acetone is, it's worse than acetone. So we were just, I mean, I hate to say the word, but we were high.
Yeah,
you were
getting brain damage.
Yeah, and I remember sitting outside afterwards because we had to go back and try to fix that thing like 10 times before we were done. But we were sitting outside that night, and I'm sitting there like this. My brother's like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "I got a ball of xylene and sealer," and I'm just sitting there playing with those like moldable things. He's like, "What did you do?" I was like, "There was a high spot, so we pulled it off," and I just picked it up.
Dude, how you didn't get turned into the Joker is beyond me.
Dude,
with all those chemicals.
Yeah. Mesothelioma. Pretty sure I'm gonna have it one day because of that stuff.
Dude, I'm surprised I didn't get anything because of Polyprint when we first started going there. Dude, that place just dumps chemicals.
Yeah.
Yup.
Yeah.
Good old printing presses, man. They put out all kinds of nasty.
Plastic printing presses, nonetheless.
Yep.
Which, you know, plastic's great for your lungs.
Plastic's amazing. Microplastics, yay. Jeepers.
I couldn't. Yeah, that job killed us. I think that was like our first big job. And I think we made like, by the time we were done and had to buy all the extra stuff, I think we made like 12 or 13 cents an hour on that thing because we were there for like 2 extra weeks. Jeez, and it was supposed to be like a 3-day job.
No thanks.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
I mean, I could overlay like fast. Like we got that thing done quick, but I still see Goat. I had a buddy who called Goat. That dude was just laughing, and he's like, he walks outside, and he just goes like this to light up a cigarette, and John's all, "No, you need to walk away."
Like, how did they die?
You trying to blow us all up, man?
Well, that's that reminds me of the same house I was talking about. We first installed wood floors. The house I wanted to buy and the house that my wife put an offer in on.
Mm-hmm.
We were painting this house in the winter and the AC was down, so there's no heat. And it was just like watching paint just melt off the walls. We tried to put thin layers of coat on and it would just start running. And we're like, dude, this sucks so bad. It took us like 2 weeks to paint that damn house.
It normally takes us 2 days.
So we got to the point where Goat had to bring all of his big propane blowtorch heaters in.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got a full-on commercial, like 3.5-foot torch heater in the living room of this house in the dead of winter, so we could try to heat it up to paint the damn house.
Mm-hmm. That was a fun one,
dude. Man, flipping houses is a nightmare.
So one thing that
sleeping in hammocks in the living rooms.
One thing that always pops into my head is 2 things. One, the glass door. And John,
dude, the glass door, bro.
So
I almost died.
We had hammers, and we were just trying to.
So in this house, what was this, like 12,000 square foot house?
Oh, it was ginormous.
Dude,
I think so.
Huge. So it had an entire master suite, like a master wing of the house. And I'd been tasked in there to like tear out all kinds of stuff and prep a lot of electrical. And I was dealing with AC stuff. So I was in there prepping this entire room by myself. And there's a pocket glass door that would divide that entire wing of the house and it's a long ramp, and I'm in there doing stuff. So I'm on one side of this glass pocket door. Now continue.
And it's like a mosaic glass as well,
It's
so
very,
you
very
can
fancy.
see through it, but you can't see through it. And we had tried, like we had threw hammers at it, we had threw like wrenches and all kind of like crowbars.
I had no idea any of this was happening.
And out of nowhere, my brother has this huge sledgehammer.
10-pound double jack.
Yep. And he's all, "Hey, Randy." I didn't know he was going to do this, to be fair. He's all, "Hey, Randy." We thought it would bounce off. And Randy, you just see his shadow kind of like get in the view, and then you just see John launch this thing.
And then hammer went
straight. Yeah, it went straight through the glass. Did not even slow it down. And you would have died.
I think went end over end, and I just see him like, "What's up?" I poke out of the I was in the bathroom section of this, which like turned into a laundry room. So I just kind of walk out. I'm like, "What's up?" And then just glass exploding, and I'm like, "Whoa!" And I duck back, and this giant hammer just goes whipping by me, and like continues for like another 10 feet before I finally like fell. Yeah, I forgot about that.
That always pops into my head. And then they had these gigantic concrete pillars.
Oh, dude, that was the other house. Oh,
No, that was the same house. That was in Scottsdale. They were right when you walked in the front door. The two pillars on the right hand side. It's the same house.
No, the glass. No, that was the second house. The pillars are the first.
Oh
house.
yeah, they were but the same building, the same property. They were on the same property.
Is that what the pillars we had to break up and get out to the dumpster?
Mm-hmm.
No, that was the first house. The house that was built kind of on a hill that I got the dumbwaiter equipment out of.
Yeah, that was the same house as the glass. The one John threw the glass.
Not the pillars.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. The pillars was the one where the pillars was the first one up in the boulders.
Yes.
The glass one was a second house. You had to like back up that big crazy ass hill. Had the 2-car garage.
Yeah, and all that copper was around.
But the house went up high.
Yeah, I thought that was the same house.
No, it's 2 different houses.
Oh, okay, maybe
because that one when you walked in, it had that crazy pitched roof in the living room with all the big glass windows. The other one had the swimming pool that we took baths in.
Yeah.
So it was 2 different houses because we did 3 houses. We did that one, the one on the golf course, and then the big green one was the one that we were electrocuting on.
Oh, okay.
And they cut down they topped that giant tree.
Yeah.
So not far apart, but we did the other one first with the big pillars.
Okay.
The one that almost broke John's leg.
That's what I was just gonna say.
Because you had to go through the garage to get out to the roll off.
Okay.
The other house, the garage was downstairs.
Yep.
So, anyways, the big pillars.
So
like Washington Monument.
Yeah,
they were like the Lincoln Monument.
Well, I couldn't fit my arms around them. They were that big, like, and
held nothing.
And we were just like, we had to chip at them to get them out, to break them up. Bad. And so we're chipping at them, and then it just falls into the living room, and my brother's in there, and I don't remember if he was laying down or did he fall down.
No, we were trying to get that half out of the house. We were pushing over the door.
After we put something on it. We put something there. We like piled up a thing trying to, like, when we fell, so it would hopefully break in half, and it didn't. So we rolled it off, and we're trying to take it up the stairs, and the whole thing fell off and fell onto his leg, and we had to like.
And we were stuck on this side of the door, and he was on that side of the door, so we had to physically get over it.
Yeah, we had to walk on it.
Yeah, to get it off of him. Yeah. He's like, "Oh, my foot!"
Yeah, that was. Oh.
Because I had to bring the Johnson bar to try to lift it.
Yep.
And then I brought the chain fall to try to lift them up into the dumpster because we couldn't get them just that 8 inches off the ground to get it into the roll off.
Damn heavy, and they took so long to break up.
That house was the one that you and I were playing darts in the bathroom wall with hammers.
Oh, okay.
In the guest bathroom, when you walked into the house to the right, you walk around and this whole.
That was the one with the saltillo.
Yes.
Okay.
So
you're right.
So that bathroom had like the walk around shower wall that was all tile, and that all had to come out. So on the back, so I was in there with a hammer, just blowing this stuff out, and then the back wall of the shower, I took spray painted a big bullseye, and then we were all in there hoofing hammers, playing darts in the wall because it all had to come out.
Yeah. Well,
that house was insane, but that's when John had to do the stucco around the fireplace, and all that other trash.
We would go to these houses, and we lived there.
Yeah,
we lived at the house.
Yeah, we did.
We would keep one room that was semi-undisturbed as the best we could while we were getting some of the other house done, and we would just sleep in there and stuff. because it was up in Scottsdale and we were in Tucson.
Yeah.
And
So 2.5 hours worth of travel with trailers and everything.
and we would wake up. Well, I would wake up in the morning and start working and wake all you guys up because you guys
Yeah.
fucking hate early mornings, and I
Yeah.
just wanted to get it done.
Well, we were also staying up to like 2 or 3 in the morning working.
Yep. And then we would work until lunch. Somebody normally ran and grabbed lunch, me or John, and then would continue working till 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2 in the
Yeah.
morning. And then we would run to like Target in these nice huge
Oh,
areas.
We went to the Yim.
Yeah.
Everyone in Scottsdale is always either going to or coming from the
I
gym.
swear.
So we're like going to the Yim, and we rolled through looking like haggard
Where
hobos, dude.
covered in drywall dust, covered in dirt,
Whatever we were
walking
on.
through Walmart with
Wearing just beaters.
covered in stuff. And there's like I had a nice truck at the time, I would say.
Yeah, you've got to you still do. It's a nice truck.
2012 Ram 3500 long crew cab long bed dually diesel.
Yeah.
Like
It's a nice
$40,000 truck. We definitely had the brokest truck at the Walmart there.
Oh,
which
dude, yeah.
It was terrible. We're parking next to like Lambos.
Yeah.
and
And brand new Land Cruisers and everything. And
we're
then
just carrying like all this like food because we're just so starved.
we weren't even grabbing cars. Like, I'm just gonna grab 1 or 2 things, and then you're like, oh, I want this and this and this, and then next thing you know, you're just like hugging all your groceries up to the front.
And Danny with like 3 cheesecakes.
Forgot about that. I'm gonna share it with you guys. And then we were buying like margarita mix, but we had no blender, so we were just like mixing drinks in cups and using like wooden spoons to shake up like very liquidy margaritas.
Yeah, it was.
And then flopping into the pool. Because we're like, dude, I just need to just get in the water. Like, all right.
Yeah, we just
dive
jump
into
in.
the pool, man. Yeah, that was wild. It was fun times. Yeah, we got to the point where we're all buying air mattresses because the first couple of times we didn't know what to take. So I had your hammock.
I remember you trying to
Dude,
sleep
that
in
sucked so bad. That was a rough night.
I had a
man.
pop-up hammock, and it's a big hammock, and it's actually a pretty nice hammock. But
It's nice when you're chilling. It's not when you're trying to go to sleep.
yeah,
You like cause are bundling up and everything. You wake up all. I mean, you're already going to bed kind of sore and tired, and then you wake up even more sore and more tired. That sucked so bad. So that's why I was like, screw this. Let's go to Walmart. I need an air mattress.
we had to buy towels and everything because just crap
Rolling
got
through
destroyed.
buying soap and deodorant. Yeah, doing hobo showers out in the back with a garden hose. We all wear swim trunks. You just go out there and you're like, I'm gonna go take a shower real quick.
Yeah.
You just go in the backyard. You grab the freezing hose. Just totally Pulp Fiction shower. They just scrub it down. Because the pool would get the crap off you, but then now you're covered in chlorine and you're drying out.
Yeah,
But yeah, dude, that house was fun. The other house was insane with all the drywall.
dude, the Bobcats.
Yeah, the Bobcats, that was in the house with a hammer.
Yep.
So that house, giant piece of house, part of the roof had gotten damaged in a storm. So they had ripped sections of it off and tarped it over for the roofing contractor to come out and fix. But they had this like, I don't know, just like 80-foot tree, 60-foot tree, something like that in the backyard.
Yeah,
It was huge. And they were waiting for the arbor guys to come out and slowly start taking this tree down. So they didn't want to deal with the roof in case part of that tree landed on the roof. So we would work. We'd get up early as hell Monday, drive up there, stay there, come back Wednesday night, and then go back Thursday morning and come back Friday night. So that was kind of our schedule.
Sometimes Saturday night.
Sometimes Saturday. Kind of depended on like what your wifey and what his wifey would say.
Yeah.
I was single at the time, so it didn't matter. But that was kind of our normal schedule. So one Wednesday we go home, come back Thursday. So we'd be gone for a full 12 hours. And we come in and I was still doing stuff like kind of down in the master area and working on wiring. And someone else was working in the master bathroom. I think it was John was working in there, working on like the jacuzzi tub or something.
Yeah, it was the jacuzzi tub too.
And he hears something weird. And he was like, Randy, come here. I was like, what? He was like, do you hear something? And I was like, yeah, I hear something. What's up? And we start like looking around. And again, this master bath, which has a giant shower, and then, big area to get dressed outside of the shower. And then separate from that, you have a giant jacuzzi tub. Separate from that, you've got like a toilet room. And then continuing on, you go to a giant walk-in closet, which has an island in the middle of it because part of the wall next to it drops down to the laundry room. So you can be in there doing laundry and slide your basket into that island and then go in and fold or put away stuff right there in your closet. So it's a big area, hundreds of square feet. There's a lot of pocket doors dividing all these. Next to the jacuzzi tub was a pocket door. So John was under the jacuzzi tub working on plumbing and kept hearing something. So he starts looking around. So I'm in there looking. He goes, holy crap. And he looks in the pocket door area and there's 3 bobcat kittens in there. And we're like, what? This house is secure. Like all the doors are locked. All the windows are in place. Nothing's open. How the hell did these kittens get in here? So we're walking around and we're trying to figure out how to get them out. And we're like, this is actually before the hammer. So we're like, what do we do? So he keeps trying to reach in and grab them. And they're mean bastards when they're little.
Yeah, they are.
They look adorable, but he reached and they make big boy noise. And they've got real big paws with real big claws. And they kept attacking him. So we're trying to like grab broom handles and try to get them out of the wall. But they're like tucked back. And they keep burying themselves. So like, what the hell are we going to do? Well, all that commotion called the mother.
Yep.
So now the mother is outside stalking. And this house is all windows.
Yeah, and she'll literally be like 3 feet from the window walking by us,
pacing,
just staring at
just
us, and we're like
almost foaming. I've got some really good. If I find the pictures, I'll try to overlay them in the edit.
Yeah.
But she's up against the glass, just staring in. So finally, we decide this wing of the house can't be worked in. So we open that room had its own door to its own back patio. We open that door. We go to the glass door that John threw the hammer through, and we close that. We close off that entire wing of the house, hoping that the mother will come in, get her kittens, and leave. If for the rest of the day we're watching her, she climbs that big tree, gets on the house. So clearly she'd gone in with her kittens under the roof and somehow got down into that room. And then they just hid, and she must have gone off looking for mice or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
That was sketchy, dude.
We left for a couple hours, came back, and they were gone. So,
and after that, we did not go moseying outside anymore.
No, not at all.
Because we used to just go bombing around out back. They had an empty pool, so we'd go hang out, have lunch, sit next to that or whatever, or hose ourselves off next to it.
Yep.
Like, yeah. After that, no thanks.
But we definitely closed up the roof after that, and I remember, like, as we were doing that, and you guys were up there looking for electrical and stuff, John screams out of nowhere, "Ah, a pterodactyl!" That's all I remember. It was this huge bird that I guess they had.
Space.
Yeah, in the crawl space. There was this huge bird. I saw the carcass of it, but it was just laying there.
Yeah,
and it was a gigantic bird.
A pterodactyl.
The bobcat had probably killed and drug in there.
I forgot about that. Yeah, a giant skeleton of a bird. It was like 18 inches across, like with its wings kind of halfway folded in. It's a pterodactyl.
It was a gigantic
I forgot
bird.
about that. I took the dumbwaiter because we were demoing out the dumbwaiter because this house had a dumbwaiter, and I've got that entire dumbwaiter assembly out of my dad's house because I brought it back for him because I thought he'd think it was really cool.
Yeah.
So he still has that. And then that cable we gave to my father-in-law a few years ago. Still had all that, dude.
That's cool.
He needed some big steel cable for something.
Yeah, we got a lot of cool stuff out of those houses.
For a long time, I had a bunch of cabinets.
Yeah.
Like, kind of like these.
I know. I wish I had a house at that time because then I could have had a lot. They would
Dude,
go,
we could have fully, like, built a house out of the stuff we got.
Yeah.
Like,
because
all the lighting we just threw away.
they were buying houses that were, like, halfway remodeled sometimes. So, like, half of the house would be brand new almost.
Yep,
but
modern stuff.
But it wouldn't match what they wanted done. So all of it would have to come out. And then all new stuff would come in. And, I mean, John got cabinets for their garage and stuff back then.
Yeah, fully kitted his garage.
Yep.
And yeah, that. And he had that big, he's same garage. It's a big-ass garage.
Yeah.
Like, his garage is the size of his house, isn't it? It's like
pretty
an 11,
close.
like an 11
So,
1,100 square foot house and an 1,100 square foot
2,
garage.
4, I think it's 1.5 deep. I don't think it's 2 deep.
Not quite
like 2 car deep, but it's a 4-car garage almost 2 deep all the way across. So I mean,
yeah, if you've got like Wranglers, you can go 2 deep.
Yeah.
If you've got a full size truck, you can go 1 deep and have a lot of walk room all the way around it.
I've had my truck in there a couple of times to work on it and pull it right in the center of all of it.
Yeah,
you've got 10 feet on each side of it.
My old body, when we were doing the exhaust, did it in there. And I just found videos the other day of all of us because it was me, you, Danny, and your brother doing the exhaust on the truck, the headers and everything.
Yep.
So, and we had tons of room to walk around it. Yeah, this was once a garage until some idiot decided to take out the gate and put a wall in, so you can't drive a car in here anymore.
Yeah.
So now I've got a gym,
Yeah.
which works out for me because I wouldn't have put a car in here anyway. My
Yeah.
motorcycle was in here for a long time, and then I built the thing out front.
Yeah.
But hey, dude, those houses were a lot of fun. Like I look back on that, most of it fondly. In the moment, it sucked.
Oh yeah, it was terrible, and we hated it.
Like
And being in the middle of it.
what really sucked, dude, was using the jackhammer with a scraper blade to pop all those little wood tiles in that living room.
Yeah.
Because you'd pop them and they'd fly up and hit you.
Oh yeah.
Because it was this weird wood floor where it was these like
And they were like
One
I think they
by
were
two.
bamboo.
probably they were like 1 inch wide and like 3 inch long, like Jenga tiles through this entire, what would you say, like 400, 500 square foot living room.
Yeah.
That dropped a sunken living room. And the entire floor was made up of these wood panels. They were probably tiled
Yeah.
in like 12 by 12s.
But you couldn't tell a
But
pattern on
yeah,
them.
you couldn't. So when you just start popping them, they just start flying up and hitting you and hitting everyone around you.
And when you pop them, like it's like saltillo. If you've ever done saltillo, you can't pop up a whole saltillo tile.
No, it
you,
chips away.
You pop like a third of the top off, and then you have to pop the this eighth off, and then
Yeah.
that 10th off.
It's just a
And
nightmare.
it was
But that stuff you're just walking through, and it just.
I know. I remember doing that towards Jeremy.
Yeah,
just
aiming it.
like battling almost, so you could stand it longer.
What's really wild is that's 11 years ago.
Yeah. Yep.
Like I was thinking of that the other day. Like it's been 11 years.
Mm-hmm.
Freaking nutty.
Yeah.
Like that. Actually, it was 12.
12 years,
12 years ago. It was
I
2013. So I was,
Wow.
dude, 12 years ago we were doing that. And now we're doing everything else we're doing.
That means over 12 years ago is the last time I cleaned carpet. That's crazy.
Yeah. Dude, I haven't cleaned. I've cleaned upholstery in like my trucks.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, with like a commercial
but like
van.
actual with a van, I haven't done it since I left commercial, and that's 2008 when I came to work here.
Rainbow?
No, I left Rainbow and went to commercial.
Oh, yeah, commercial. Sorry.
But yeah,
I thought you were saying commercial carpet cleaning vans. Like,
Oh
sorry.
yeah, but that was the name of the company,
Yeah.
Commercial Carpet Cleaning. But yeah, I was at Rainbow forever, and then got tired of their nonsense. Left, went to commercial, was there for a while, but I was only there for like 6 months because it was all commission, and I don't do commission work. So after a while, I was like, dude, this isn't working. And then I got my job here, the first time, and came here. And
Gotcha.
Then, but yeah, that sucked. But PMRs were definitely my favorite and least favorite of that entire industry.
Yeah, I never did them, so
Like I've commented. I don't remember if we've talked about it on here or not.
I don't think so.
But if you've made it this far, hold on, and I'll pause this. We'll start a new video. So we'll pick up with PMRs
Okay.
because no one's gonna make it this far into a video. Let's face it, you're not watching, and my mouth's turned off because it does that because it's a jerk. So yeah, stay tuned. There'll be a part 2 here in just a few minutes. So Tucson, Arizona, I'm ready.
I'm Nick.
Sometimes.
Peace.